was just working paycheck to paycheck, living in a cage. But trading was the one thing that actually stuck with me in the end. What I do is, if I have a negative thought, just question it. I'm always very honest and transparent, so I'm gonna say this, that I started coaching too early, in my opinion. I don't think I was ready just yet. I really like doing it, and that's why I wanted to do it. 90% of the people are lying 100% of the time. Like, everybody is lying when we ask people, how are you doing? And even in trading, how is everything with trading? Oh, everything's fine, but they've just blown an account.
Imagine building $600,000 in funding and then losing it all. Not once, but twice. Our guest today, Jordy, did that and came back stronger than ever. Today we're going to unpack how his pain, the illusion and obsession with trading almost broke him, and how he turned his pain into precision. Welcome back to Risk Reward Radio. I am your host, Rodrigo Antonio. So, Jordy, you've worn many hats. You've worked in Michelin star restaurants. You've done MLM recruiting, funded trader, and you're now the founder of Resolute Trading. Man, that's quite a journey. So could you take us back to that transition away from the normal life to now a funded trader?
Definitely. Thanks for having me, Rodrigo. It's nice to be here to talk with somebody who's also in performance and psychology. Nice recap of what I've done. So I've been in Michelin star restaurants, hotels. Finally figured out that I was just working paycheck to paycheck, basically living in a cage, just trying to figure out, so how can I climb in life right now? So what is the solution for me? I can keep working this hard or even harder, and there's nothing much going to change. My boss might like me a bit more, but I'm not going to earn more. And that's actually the introduction to me, or it's been the introduction to the digital world of making money. And I've tried a lot of things, and I'm sure we'll cover them. But trading was the one thing that actually stuck with me in the end, and that's why we're here today.
Yeah. I remember that feeling too. You mentioned that being stuck in a cage. That to me was probably the lowest points in my life. The 9 to 5, asking for permission, getting told off because you spent a bit too much time on your lunch break, deadlines. Like for me, the pain and I guess the pain of experiencing that for the rest of my life was so great that I needed to look for a solution. And then that's when trading just was introduced to my life suddenly. And I just knew at that moment, this is it. And like, what was that moment for you in your trading career where you decided, no, you know what? I've done all of these things. Now trading, like, did you have to like stop everything at that moment, or did you have to slowly transition into trading?
It's a great question. I had two moments. The first moment was when I was working at a hotel. I was doing sales. And I asked the general manager, mind you, I was 23. I asked him the question, like, what is it going to take for me to become a general manager of the hotel? And he just blandly replied to me, well, let's talk again in 5 years. And I was making the calculation, okay, let's talk again in 5 years, and then potentially get lucky to get that position and make €1,000 more a month. So that was already clicking to me like, okay, I got to start looking around. So then I started looking around and then cycling a couple of jobs. I ended up in a Michelin star restaurant. And the final click happened to me when I was working there and doing like 14 to 16 hour shifts, like trading on my cell phone in a small bathroom in the back, very dirty. Then suddenly I was just using my phone during service when it was calm. And the boss came to me and she's like, you're just here to work for me, not to sit on your phone. And that thing sparked something in me that I was like, not having control, not being even able, like, imagine I was just looking at messages from my mom or something important, like not being able to do that. It wasn't even about trading. So that's the thing that it really clicked to me. Okay, now you got to go all in. You got to change this. You're going to make this work. Your job is not going to be the priority anymore. Just do your job well and then focus on everything, build everything. So that was a real click moment for me.
And at that moment, were you profitable, or were you still in that phase of building and developing your strategy?
I was profitable, but not consistent. So I
Right.
already had a taste of what it's like. I saw people getting payouts. I know it was possible, but it was really tough to combine it. When you're working catering, like I said, I have to run to a small bathroom to check a trade. I had to swing trade. I couldn't check everything. So I just had to put alarms. And then it was very difficult to check those alarms during the job. But in the end, I was getting some small payouts, getting funded with just one account. And then I was realizing, okay, how much do I need? You start calculating, right? How much do I need to actually quit? How much do I need to set aside? And then eventually, I didn't have enough when I quit, but the pain, as you mentioned, was really getting too hard. So, and then finally, when I was working, it was just after COVID, and I remember this very vividly. It was in a full restaurant. Everyone was getting just a flu. What's it called? Everyone was getting a flu vaccination. And we had to. And I was like very controversial back at the time that you needed to get something like a vaccine. And I just said to her, no, I'm not going to do this, or I'll do it with my own doctor. And she just shouted at me in front of like 20, 25 people. And the day after, I just resigned. I'm like, this is it. I'm done. I'm going all in trading. This has been the last like drop in the bucket. And afterwards, I was like so stressed. And the moment I did it, I just told my girlfriend, oh, I should have done this way sooner.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. We get comfortable because we get conditioned by society that this is the route we must take. And when you step away from that, you're now out the comfort zone of what society has built for us. But it's in that uncomfortable zone. This is where you feel the pressure. This is where, you know, as one of my mentors says, it's like when you squeeze a lemon, you know, that's when you know how bitter the juice is, right? So that's when your true performance comes out. That's when you're forced to really reflect on who you are, what you want, and what do you represent? What do you live for? Because the fact that you resigned, but you wish you had done it sooner, you realize that, wow, now you've got more mental bandwidth. Now you can truly have the physical and mental energy to really focus on, okay, I need to make this work. How can I maintain profitability and consistency? So did you get results straight away, or was it a work in process? Like what was that? You went, you quit your job to then trading full time. Like what was that transition like?
It was a hard transition because there's a lot of things changing. For example, you get a lot of time. You can look at the charts all the time. So it can be positive, but it can also be negative. You can be over trading, over managing, doing all that stuff. And for me personally, the biggest issue was that I was a bit anxious to, like, I had this thought, if it doesn't work out, I'll just get another catering job. So I was like, I'm in a fight or flight mode, that I'm just like, I need to force this. Now I'm going full time. It has to work. I think in the beginning, like a couple of months after I've done it, I was in drawdown, and just because of that feeling, I blow the account. And then is the moment where your pain is really coming back up. So I constantly, in the beginning of going full time, I needed that pain again. So I was blowing accounts, and then that pain luckily fueled me to come back stronger. But it was very tough in the beginning, because if there's 1 month that you're not getting a payout, you immediately start eating from your buffer that you have. And that's something that's mentally draining. You don't know when the next funded account is going to be there or the payout. So that was a very challenging period where I was just staying at home, not going outside. Same with losing the funded. And in the end, I think you need those moments. As you said, like you squeeze a lemon. I always say it's like a muscle. You have to build mental resilience. Like when you're building muscle, you have to tear it very smallly, and it's going to be able to grow again. Same goes for like being mentally tough in the markets. You need to have gone through all these parts to have these little stretches, like you've lost funding, you've been in drawdown, you've blown an account, you've been over trading, and all these small stretches is going to help you to like build this mental muscle of resilience. And I think that was when I saw that, I was really growing, but I needed some help. I had some psychology as well, and I had some people tell me that, and then I was like, this makes sense. And then seeing these pains and struggles as just little tears, little things of growth that you need to go through to create that like resilience band, or how should I call it?
Yeah.
That's a big lesson.
Yeah, that's something that I learned over time. And there's this book that I read that was just a game changer. It's called The Obstacle is the Way by something Holiday.
Ryan Holiday,
That's it, yeah.
Yes, also Ego is the Enemy, right?
Ego is the. So what I learned from that book is that it's not what happens to us, it's what happens for us. So all that pain that you were going through, the pressure of the trading, making money, sustaining, eating into your buffer, all that stress and anxiety is real. Like everyone feels it, and you will go into survival mode. But if you let it victimize you, then you stay the victim. But if you use it, the obstacle itself is the way to build those mental calluses, to build your level of tolerance. So then you start to welcome the pressure. It's strange, like as a high performer, there's moments where you just get obsessed with pressure. And when things are easy, when things are calm, I don't know about you, but for me, when I'm on holiday, I can't spend more than 3 days chilling. After 3 days, I get anxious. I'm like, I need to do something. I need to solve problems. So is that the same for you?
For me, it's the same. I'm a bit, I'm not ADHD, but I think I might have it. So for me, it's hard to sit still and be patient. And I have the same thing from the book. And I actually created a trigger for myself. And that trigger is a very simple question. Every time I'm in a bad state, like in a suffering state, Tony Robbins talks about this being in a beautiful state or being in a suffering state. In suffering, nothing happens. You're stuck there. And it's trying to transition or create a trigger to get back in a beautiful state, and which is a creative state where you can create again and use these things to fuel you. I use one small trigger, and it's literally gold. For me, it's gold. Every time I'm in a situation where you lose funding, because it still happens, sometimes you lose funding or something bad happens or you get scammed, I just try to tell myself, okay, what is this moment going to teach me? And that small question has brought me so much. Like even driving here or not finding the podcast studio, like what is this teaching me? Okay, maybe I should ask and ring this bell. And then I just found it. And then these things in trading, like try to use all that negative thing. And because a lot of beginning traders have frustration, we all had. If you use that frustration and try to ask yourself, because if you're asking a question, automatically you get pulled out of a state.
Yeah.
Because you're not focused anymore, like, okay. And also if you have negative thoughts, the same thing goes for there. What I do is if I have a negative thought, just question it.
Yeah.
I saw Tony Robbins do it live. It was also here in I think it's in Birmingham that the event was.
Yeah. You saw him live?
I saw him live. And that thing, I'm getting goosebumps from it again. He took someone from the public, and they were talking about what is your negative state, and he was saying like, I'm not a good father. And then he just made the person question that belief or thing that he's saying to himself, and immediately you remove all that thing because you're starting to question. And in trading, I think it's important that all the things you're saying, like keep a journal, what are you actually saying to yourself, and actually question everything you say. And that's a great thing that really moved me forward because like I'm saying, every time you take a loss, I'm a shitty trader, I'm not performing, what am I doing? Like question that. Are you really? You're eating healthy, you're going to the gym, you're very focused, you're journaling. You are not a bad trader. Why do you say this? And once you realize and ask that question, I think you immediately switch back to creating.
That's it. Yeah. Thing about Tony Robbins and that particular technique, it's an NLP method of reframing.
Yeah.
And when you reframe your negative thoughts, you can also reframe the beliefs behind those thoughts. And then what you're suggesting is like, what is the lesson from this? What can I learn from this? That's I love that because it's, again, you're utilizing something that's out of your control to something useful. So rather than be a victim of it, like, you've had accounts being blown, you've had firms going down. What can I learn from this? How can I be better from this situation? And you have had a few firms go down on you. So like, what do you feel like the industry is very volatile? Do you think there's a future for prop firm trading, or do you feel like um, things are actually better than they were before?
It's a great question. It's very controversial. In my opinion, it's kind of the Wild West out there, and it's been so for a couple of years, but it's evolving. I'm not saying that prop firms are going to cease to exist. I think this kind of Wild West that is happening right now is really good for the industry, because in the end, all the serious firms, the transparent firms, they're going to stick out. They're going to pop out, and they're going to like show more transparent things. They're going to showcase traders. They're going to showcase payouts, all that stuff. So I'm not thinking this is the end of prop firms. Actually, I'm thinking this is kind of a purge. Like all the bad firms are getting purged right now if they're not following. And you can see it gets worse because they are doing more marketing, more stuff like that, like casino marketing or nice girls on the ads. And you know they're getting very hungry, and you feel them getting purged. You can already feel this firm is going to go down. You can see the red flags. So I think it's nice. The firms are out there, but we're having a purge, and I think it's going to be for the better, because prop firms are here to stay, or brokers having their own prop firm as well. But I think it needs some more regulation, transparency. It's like if you take a cab and you don't know exactly how much you're going to pay, you're not going to trust that cab driver. And it's the same with prop firms. If they didn't show everything, you're not going to be confident working with them. But I think there's a purge happening, and then the strong players who do it correctly, they're going to stay ahead.
And have you traded futures, or have you just stuck to CFDs?
Just CFDs, yeah.
Okay.
I've
you thought
never
about going to futures?
Nah, actually never. Maybe just because I'm very specialized in what I do, trading the dollar, trading the yen, which of course can be traded in futures as well. But I'm not familiar with contracts or anything like that. So I'm just sticking to like a very niche expertise, and just I know I have an edge there, so I want to focus on that. And I've done it. I've like tried multiple things, and then it's just distraction for me because I already have a winning horse where I'm constantly betting on. So why would I? Like, it's only going to be a distraction for me, but it's trending right now. But I'm just sticking to my thing that works, because I know if I go to a different thing, that I'll get distracted again.
Yeah. Now, I want to go back to what you mentioned before, because you said you worked with a psychologist. Like, what was the breakthroughs that you experienced with that psychologist? What were like the sort of transformational moments? Like, what was the challenge you faced, and working with a psychologist, how did they help you through that challenge for you to have the breakthrough?
That's a great question. So yeah, I work with Koen, which is a psychologist in the Netherlands. So big love to him, because like you have some issues, and you have some issues, but you also have the solution in you. But sometimes we don't know what we don't know, and we don't really see the issue. So that's the big thing that I had with working with Koen, that he was just like, this is that process, this is that. We really made like a scheme of the processes, the habits. And the biggest issue for me was basically like result-based trading. So I was constantly focused on, like, my identity was fully built on getting results. So if I wasn't getting any results, my identity felt like shit, and I was saying that I'm a bad trader. So he really learned me and gave me these triggers and these systems to understand in which state am I trading, because I was never aware of it. And that's usually what happens. You're not aware that you're like, he uses a stoplight, like a traffic light. So you have to understand we all already know when we are in red, when we're over trading, but he uses this model where you got to know when it's orange, like when are you crossing that border. And that's something I never did. I was just like, and now I'm using these triggers. And the biggest issue for me was like overconfidence, ego, and then result-based thinking. So we had to change that to be more focused on the process. And if you're automatically more focused on the process, like, you're going to have automatically less frustration, because you're not busy with like a loss. Like, that result doesn't matter to you anymore. So you're going to have less frustration. So that already was taken care of. And then the ego part is something that we worked on as well, like trying to stay humbling yourself because you have suffering and you have overconfidence. So for me, the biggest issue, I'm used to suffering right now. I've been here in the game for a while, but like, I wasn't used to winning big. So that was a new thing that I discussed with him. Like, I've had many payouts, big payouts, and then suddenly something happened. I call it the pink glass syndrome. So I put these shades on, or glasses, whatever you call them, and I just started over trading, over leveraging, and then suddenly all the results were gone. So that's something that I really had to build a trigger for myself. Get yourself humble. You're just a trader. You're nothing special. Like people they put themselves on a pedestal. Like, oh, I'm a funded trader now. Oh, I'm on a podcast. Oh, I've done this or that. Now I'm special. No, you're not. You're still just the son of your mother. You're just a human being doing something that he loves, and that really improved everything. That I'm just like not putting it that high on a pedestal anymore. So it brings down, it humbles you, it levels you. So that were the most important lessons. But we've done a lot, like journaling your thoughts and everything. Like, what am I saying to myself constantly, and what are the triggers that are putting me in that state?
And when you say you focus now more on the process and you have these journaling techniques, give me an example of the type of things that you journal and how you're able to constantly humble yourself. What are these protocols? How do you build them into your routine?
It's an ongoing challenge, right? It's like building muscle. It's like you cannot go from day one and suddenly some coach tells you something and you're going to be an expert and you're going to be the most humble person ever. Can I talk about psilocybin? I've done like mushrooms, psilocybin.
Yeah,
I've done that as well to get. Is that something I can talk about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's really deep into psychology, right?
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things I did. Like, I'm gonna be very transparent. So I've done like the normal stuff, like journaling your thoughts, like getting more aware of your state. But then I've done like very controversial stuff, like psilocybin, doing shrooms, but like guided. Like, and this is a tool. It's not for everyone, but I've met a lot of traders who've done it, and that's why I wanted to try it. It really humbles you. That's what psilocybin does. So once you've done a psilocybin session, it's like ayahuasca in America.
Yeah.
You're like very humble, and these effects really stay in you. So these things I tried myself because I was very, very frustrated and very on that end. So I really wanted to bring myself down. I was living in my head. So for me, the focus was not living in my head, not believing everything I say to myself. So writing down everything, that's something I still do sometimes when I'm getting in those bad states.
Yeah.
I try to, like, why am I in my head? What am I saying to myself? Okay. And then just question these things. Like, if you say you're a bad trader, like, it doesn't make sense. And then you laugh about it. That's the thing. I try to make it a joke. And then when it's a joke, you don't take it. It's like what Tony Robbins does. But that's on the surface level. As you said, that's your belief.
Yeah.
Then if we go deeper, we get identity. And that's where, if you're like, you get like this period of motivation and everything's working, you're going through these beliefs, habits, routines, and it's working. And then suddenly something bad happens, and that's going to pull you back. And if you don't have the identity, you're not going to be able to climb back, or you're going to be missing certain discipline. And in that point, I can clearly tell, okay, I'm missing some things in that thing, or in that case, or in that case, and that's a really deep level that you have to go. But I think in the beginning, it's not so crucial. But if you're like growing, you'll find that it's going to be an issue, because you can be motivated for 3 months, 6 months, and there's going to be habits and routines, and you're going to be following them. But if you're in the game for like multiple years, you're going to find that identity is going to become a problem. And then there is where the real hard work is going to come in.
So let's talk about that hard work then. What identity had to die from the past for a new one to rise, for who you are now, and I guess who you live up to? Because in my opinion, you don't truly reach your ultimate identity. There's always a journey. There's always a struggle. There's always a journey towards that enlightened, me.
Flow state, right?
Exactly, like my ultimate self. I know who he is. I know what he wants. I know what he's achieved. But then I'm trying to live up to that standard. Now, on the journey to that standard, you're going to then increase your current default. But sometimes you're going to reach that flow state. Sometimes you're going to be the ultimate self. But there's times, obviously, you're human. It comes back down again. But where your baseline was before, what had to die in you, in your personality? What did you have to get rid of to then push yourself, so to raise that standard in performance, in habits, in diet, in the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, even in how you challenge your beliefs. So what did you have to strip away? What did you have to let go?
That's a great question. I think it starts with, as you already said it, it's like challenging your beliefs, but you have to be aware of them first. So self-awareness is going to be, I think, the big thing here,
Yeah.
because I also used to weigh 30 kilos more
Oh, wow.
in the beginning of my journey. And it's more clearer there than in trading because it was easier, like you lose 30 kilos. And right now it's gone because I've been very consistent and I've created a new belief just by doing it over a longer period. You create this belief in yourself because you've constantly proved it to yourself on a daily basis that you're not that fat kid anymore. And I realized the first year when I lost all that weight, I was constantly like, your body is used to it, your thought process is used to it, and you're constantly getting pulled back to that old belief. And that's really tough because you see a lot of people who lose weight or get funded and they lose it again or they get fat again. It's like they get pulled back immediately because those old beliefs are still there.
Yeah.
So for me, those periods where you've achieved something and staying there and creating new beliefs, I think it all comes down to being very self-aware, being very disciplined, and just doing all the things again as you've done before, which is hard because you think you've made it. Like you cannot lose any more weight. That's in trading you can keep scaling, but like it's like, okay, I lost the weight. What's next? More muscles? Like, I mean, I already lost the weight. And then you have to create this belief, okay, now I'm this healthy person. And then still in your mind or in the mirror, you can still see that unhealthy person. It's the same with trading. Like every time like I've gotten results, the belief is easy because you see the good trader, you see, but once you have a little setback, you really get challenged if the belief has been changed or not. And I think being consistent over a long time really changed that belief automatically. Like telling myself every day, like I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then I'm a great trader. And creating that trust in yourself by doing it every day. You make a promise, and the only way to create trust is following a promise to yourself. And once I started following that promise, then this new belief came. Like, oh yeah, I'm really a great trader because I promised it to myself. I followed it, everything. Oh yeah, that means I'm a great trader.
Yeah.
And not the result. And that's really the gold there, I think.
Yeah. It's what you're referring to as integrity. You have this integrity to your new self, your new identity, your new beliefs, and that promise to yourself is so important to uphold and be integral to it, because if you don't, then who are you? Like, why are you trading? Why are you trying to push yourself? Why did you lose all that weight if you're not going to sustain it? And if you can do that with your physical body, and like that's literally, you're like half the man. Literally half the man, but in a way you've 10x'd who you were. So it's like this concept that I always live by in trading is that less is more. So you had to physically become less. You had to have less ego in order to become more of who you are. So in trading and in life and in physical and in mental, less is truly more. Because in the life that we live, and I think this happens a lot when I'm coaching clients, and then they get lots big results, consistency, and then suddenly they go through this period of, okay, I can't get back, I can't be consistent anymore. What's going on? And it's like, well, it's your ego. It's complacency. You got used to it. You expected it. And you can't expect things and not continue with growth and self-improvement. And so the fact that you've gone through that big high, then the big low, then now you're kind of going higher and higher, rather than these huge spikes in your performance, it's more sustained. And this is what compounds. So you can not only compound a trading account or your results, you can also compound your habits. You can compound the habits that are going to sustain good performance, that are going to be aligned with your new identity. And the beautiful thing is that once you've done it once you've reprogrammed new beliefs, new behaviors, new emotions, and that reinforces the new belief, if you ever want to level up, you do the same thing again. If you ever want to change your identity again, you now have a framework to do it once again. And this is something that I personally had to go through when I had to go through a very similar journey. I had to, and I studied Tony Robbins as well, so that was part of my journey. And when I achieved this new identity, these new beliefs, these new habits, and I was profitable, then came fatherhood. And so that's another different journey altogether, when I now had to become a new version. And then marriage, and so on and so on. So there's always these moments in life where you have to go through these transformations and that's why it's so important to journal, not just like your trading life, but your everyday thoughts. Where are you experiencing pain, and what can you learn from it? And where are you experiencing, I guess, too much ego, where you need to humble yourself on it?
Or you're going to get humbled by something else.
Exactly, because that's life, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're gonna, and it will happen. I've been humbled so many times as a trader. I've been humbled as a coach, and I've been humbled as a father. And definitely, even this morning, I got humbled as a husband. So it's that's the beauty, I guess, of life. Now, you've also gone through a transition where you've gone from being a trader, you've managed to achieve this consistency, these results, but now you've entered the world of mentorship and coaching. So, what sort of breakthroughs have you had for yourself, and what sort of breakthroughs have your students had working with you?
I think that's a different journey as well, because as you mentioned, you create different identities as a father, I'm not a father, by the way, but you have these identities, and you show up as a trader or you show up as a coach. So there's different things. So it was a journey for me as well. I think I'm always very honest and transparent. So I'm going to say this, that I started coaching too early, in my opinion. I don't think I was ready just yet. I really like doing it, and that's why I wanted to do it. And then I noticed early in the journey that I was just doing it for the monetary gain more, just being very honest with myself. And then I just quit coaching for like a half year. And after that, I just finding myself again, understanding like, why do I want to do this? And do I actually love coaching? Then I got back into it. So I think it's important that you do it with the right motivation. Otherwise, you're not going to perform for the students. You're not going to give them your full attention. So I took a break, 6 months, came back, redesigned everything, like going more personal with people, because like you can make a course, you can make a Discord, and that's fine for people to get to know you. But like if you want to work one-on-one with people, like also there has to be a good match. And I used to accept everyone in the beginning because you're building a brand. And now it's just like, I'm not gonna just accept everyone. Like they come to me, you want to work with me, let's see first that there's energy, that we can work together.
Yeah.
Like a beginner is not going to be able to work with me because I know that I'm not going to be motivated. I'm not going to be going on a Zoom call explaining to you how you draw an order block. Like it's going to cost me energy. Like, but if you want to work deeply on the psychological levels, or if you want to really understand order flow or liquidity, that's the stuff I really like doing, like going in the charts. So that's a transition I made, like only focusing on the things that I really love to do, because otherwise I'm not going to give them the value that they need to get.
Yeah, I definitely resonate with that. And I struggled myself being a trader and a coach. So that's why I've been trading I've been in the markets for 11 years. Now in around 2019, 2020 is when I became profitable. And I started coaching around 2021, 2022. So between 21 and 2023, I was struggling as a trader and a coach, doing those two things together. And I thought it was a good idea at the time, because I was like, I don't need to rely on my trading anymore. I have an additional stream of income.
Yeah.
Plus, I enjoy it. I have a background in psychology. But then my clients started getting better results than me. And their wins, their transformations, their breakthroughs, that for me felt so much better than any winning trade or any payout. And one of like my breakthroughs or catalyst to my success as a coach was coaching Kyle, JCat. And when I started seeing his results for the dark place that he was in to where I helped him and guided him to reach, that I was like, okay, I want more of this. I want more Kyles. I want more traders that I can help in that sense. So that's when 23, I decided I'm just going to coach full time. I'm going to give it a go for 6 months, pause trading for a while, and then, but since then I haven't looked back. And there is something that I believe traders need. There's certain traders who really need a coach, really needs to outsource some of the struggles that they have technically in their routine and also emotionally, psychologically. Because in order to, like you said earlier, escape the cage of society, but you also have to escape the cage in your mind. You have to go out that your comfort zone, experience all that pain, but you have to then learn from it. And there's a lot of my clients, they know what the problems are. They know, they can see the mistakes. Some of them have tons of data, but they keep repeating the same problems. So it's not about knowing what your problems are. It's about also you need the mental frameworks in order to transform your beliefs, your identity. So yeah, that's why like I resonate with what you're saying, and that's why for me, I also I'm very strict on who I work with, and I think that's important because not everyone is serious. Not everyone will get value from what you do. So I like the fact that you filter out and you're quite strict with who you work with. I mean, you have to.
You have to, because
Yeah.
not. I've noticed I've been doing Resolute trading for like 3 years now. I see a lot of people coming in, and Belgian people are very skeptical. And you see them coming in, they try it 1 month, they buy the course, not even anything else. They just quit after 1 month, 2 months, because a lot of people in general, they lack self-mastery, discipline, patience. So I see a lot of people, if you don't have patience, if you don't have self-mastery, it's not going to be the same energy. So it's going to
Yeah.
be difficult. I cannot teach you discipline.
Yeah.
I cannot sit behind your screen with you and click
Yeah.
the button. So if people don't have that, it's I can tell them you need to do this and do that. But so these people, and I've worked with them, and you can see when they're working with me, they're getting results, and then they quit again, and they didn't build a real identity around it, and they just go back into the old habits. They don't do it anymore because they lack self-mastery and discipline. So that's something I try to look out for. Like, is somebody, like if you work with Jade Cap, you just immediately know he's a high performer. You want to work with him because it's going to be easy. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. When I speak to Cap, because he has his mentorship as well, we talk about the same struggles in traders that, again, I think the one thing that they're missing and what traders need, if you're going to enter a coaching program or a mentorship, you need to develop delayed gratification. And that's something that a lot of people are missing in today's world, because it's so easy to get what you want. If you're hungry, you can have food at your door in 10 minutes. You know, if you want to have some fun, you can book a cinema ticket, and, you know, it's so easy
Or you
to
just pick up your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah.
There's instant gratification because of technology. And so traders' brains are used to that, and so they expect it now with their trading results. And when it doesn't happen, then they get frustrated, and then they enter into this cognitive sabotage of just constant self-sabotage, because they think they're entitled to it, they deserve it, or I've paid for this course, like I have to have an ROI from this. And so it's that's why, you know, even traders who invest in themselves, just the investment itself isn't enough. There's other skills that are required, like I was saying, that having delayed gratification, having the patience, being coachable as well. Actually, you need to be able to take feedback, learn from it, but also be super transparent. I think the best traders I work with are the ones that are very, very they communicate often. They don't hide the mistakes. And I've worked with traders as well that hide the mistakes. They're like, disappear for 3 days. I'm like, where's your trading plan? Where's your habit tracker? What's going on? 3 days later, oh, yeah, I blew everything. I just, and it just took me 3 days to own up to it. So it goes to show how tough trading is, even when you have coaching and mentorship. But the ones that truly do, that you can help, man, the feeling is so good when you're actually able to transform those guys.
Yeah. I found myself working with people. You can see the people immediately that are going to perform, like doing one call with them, talking to them, they're going to own up to it. And a lot of people, as you mentioned, they don't have ownership. That's a big issue that I notice. And also 90% of the people are lying 100% of the time. So that's a nice quote that I heard as well. Like, everybody is lying when we ask people, how are you doing? And even in trading, how is everything with trading? Oh, everything's fine, but they've just blown an account. So I see a lot of people lying about it. Maybe it's like subconsciously that they lie to protect some kind of identity that they have. They don't want to show it to you. So it's not like they're doing it on purpose. And trying to break through that as a coach is very difficult, because people come to you, they show their trades. Like, I ask them, why did you take that position? Because they already know it's a bad decision, it's a bad trade, but what happened? And they're like, I don't know, but they do know. They just have a hard time explaining it or getting it out of them. And you really have to go, there's this thing 7 layers deep, where you ask one question, then you ask again why, then you ask again why. And then suddenly people start saying, well, why did you eventually do it? And when they really start to dig into themselves, you can really find the issues. But a lot of people don't want to do that.
So, like, what did it take for you to decide, you know what, I need help, I need mentorship? Like, what did you have to do in order to make that decision and make that investment?
There was a lot of pain, and I didn't know where it was coming from. I didn't see what I was doing wrong. So that's then I started my journey, getting a lot of coaches and courses. I think it's about 50K that I spent in coaches and courses. And I always thought next course is going to be the new magic pill. So I didn't really, I think I need a new course or a new coach or something. And that wasn't really the issue. And then I found out, working with psychologists and performance coaches, suddenly started to realize, well, my relationship to failure, that's going to determine my success. And that's the real thing that stuck with me. Like, okay, I already have all the answers. They're just going to show me my answers. Like, I'm the issue, I'm the solution, and they are just going to show it to me. So I constantly keep working with those people, because there's going to be next levels. There's going to be next issues, things that I'm not seeing. So that's been my journey.
Wow. So 50K. So that, would you say you've gotten an ROI from that?
I've gotten the ROI, definitely, but not from all of them. You have to be very selective who you work with. And I didn't do that in the beginning. I just saw like very nice results on Instagram, like, oh, I need to buy this course. And then you realize like every coach is kind of doing the same thing. It's the same strategy, basically. If like GJ is going up, probably everyone has a different view why they should have taken that long position if they were right. So I realized that I need to find things in myself. And then I started working one-on-one with people like psychologists, performance coaches, because I didn't need a new course anymore. I needed just like understanding what you need is also quite important. And of course, I had to go through some coaches, find the right fit for me, because not every coach is going to be the right fit. And then I found the right coaches, did some due diligence, and those people really showed me like, these are the issues, you need to work on this. And but it was definitely worth it. I would do it 100% again. But I didn't know it was going to take me that much money in coaching to finally get to where I wanted to be. I thought, let's just buy a course for 1K and we'll be done. I didn't expect it to go on that long, and now I just know it's something that you have to keep doing, or you're just gonna go back to your old beliefs.
I think for me, my biggest transformations from mentorship came from that one-on-one relationship with a mentor. So whether, I invest probably 20, 30K a year in these kind of, so I going to networking events, doing retreats abroad, all of these different things, so that I can spend one-on-one with someone who I aspire to be like, someone that inspires me, someone that's got amazing results, and I can learn from them. And I've gone with mentors in the property industry, in sales, like all different types of industries to really learn from them. And yeah, it's just that one-on-one time with these mentors is powerful. Even just a few minutes of, you tell them what your problem is, and they just break it down to you. It's it's game changing. And I'm lucky enough that one of my mentors, he is now a good friend of mine, and we hang out. We work out together, and it's because when also something to bear in mind is that when you invest in a mentorship or a coach, when it's one-on-one, I was thinking, what can I do? I can't remember where I read it, but someone said, like, when you're in a mentorship, it's two ways. So you think about what value can you bring them, and so when you do that, your mentors eventually become your friend. Yeah. And when that happens, it's wonderful, because now you're surrounding yourself with people who are going to empower you, elevate you. And that's been one of my personal sort of hacks, is like surround yourself with people you can learn from, and find ways that you can give them value without essentially you're doing it as a favor. You're not doing it as in, hey, pay me for this, or I want something in return. It's just, you just give. And when you create that type of dynamic, man, that's probably one of the keys to my success.
It's funny that you mentioned, just this week, one of my old students who've been working with me one-on-one, he wasn't getting the results anymore. And we went to grab a coffee. He just texted me, "You want to grab a coffee?" And he was explaining it, like really opening up to me. Because if you create this kind of friendship, it allows for more openness, more transparency. And also for me, it was like, you can just message me. You don't have to pay me anymore. We'll just do an extra call. I want you to succeed because we've created this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So it's nice if you find a coach where you really have a good fit with, that you create this kind of relationship, because you're going to get so far in the journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So now it's time for the fun segment, right? So we're going to do a quick fire. Welcome to Never Have I Ever. So this is just a quick segment where you're either going to respond to have or never. Okay, so this is confessions edition. All right?
Okay.
I hope you're ready.
Yeah.
So never have I ever taken a loss and then revenge traded by doubling my risk.
I have. Definitely.
Never have I ever taken a course and blamed the coach for my lack of results.
Oh, I have.
Never have I ever blown an account and smashed something to bits.
Never.
Never have I ever made an emotional decision in my trading and not learned from it.
Probably I have.
Never have I ever scrolled through social media just to get some gratification.
I have.
Never have I ever seen a trader get awesome results and wish that was me.
Oh, I have. Constantly.
Never have I ever made a mistake and pretending like nothing has happened.
I have multiple times.
Yeah, that's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, if people ask you, you just lost maybe, I've lost a lot in crypto. So then you maybe lost 20K or 30K. And then like, how is everything? Fine. What do you think about the crypto markets? It's looking good still. I mean, yeah, so I have.
Yeah, it's like that meme where everything's on fire.
You're just smiling.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Everything. I'm fine.
I'm fine. I've been in crypto for this long, so I'm fine.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because crypto has gone through so many boom and bust cycles, and so quickly as well, compared to any other market, you will build so much resilience. You will see these huge, peaks and troughs in a day, all that volatility. And in the beginning, it's hard. It's heart attacks. You get so much anxiety, but then after a while, you get really used to it.
Yeah, if you've ever been rug pulled in crypto, that's a roller coaster. That's like if it goes down like 20% or 15%, we're used to that. But like if you're in a project and it gets rug pulled, or it's a scam project, then everything's gone.
Yeah, that happened to me twice, or actually 3 times. There was this one called Ohm. I don't know if you remember that.
No, I don't.
Ohm, and there was another one called Luna.
Oh yeah, Luna.
Yeah.
we all know that one.
and FTX.
I've been in that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily with small amounts, yeah.
Okay. Oh, you're lucky.
I have a good story about that. My mom, I manage a portfolio for her, and the big bag was on FTX. And I told her we should get like a ledger or something to put it on. Like 1 month or 2 months before we did that, and I was even still procrastinating, so I didn't do it immediately.
Yeah.
And then like that happened, and she still had like small amounts, and I was like, oh, I would have been devastated if that would have happened to
Yeah.
her. If it would have happened to me, I was like, okay, I'll get over it, but like to somebody else I care about, yeah. So that was a big one for me, FTX. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like as a trader, that's something you should be very, very careful with, is using family members or loved ones' capital to trade, because I mean, I would personally just avoid it. Like,
Yeah, it was not to trade. Like she wanted to invest.
invest, yeah, but you still feel,
I wouldn't trade with their
you
money.
still feel so responsible for it.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
as in crypto, you're going to have to trade it. Like, you're still using fundamental analysis, technical analysis. You have to have your entry points. You have to have your exit points. So there's still an element of trading, even though you're investing. And still there's a lot of responsibility, because our families, they have no idea, right? What we do, we know what we're doing, but they don't. So
You can feel their stress. Like, I know what's
Yeah.
happening, but they don't. So they're going to reflect that to you. And you're like, you have to explain everything, but they don't have the same understanding of the fundamentals that you do. So it's hard to like put them at ease again.
Yeah, yeah. One of my first jobs in the industry was as an analyst for a startup hedge fund.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, that was super cool. Like, I was so lucky to get that role. And so this was based here in Mayfair in London. And what I had to do was provide reports to investors, but I also had to provide fundamental analysis to the traders and break down their trades for the investors. And I remember how much pressure the investors would put to the fund manager. I remember hearing the conversations. And one of the biggest mistakes he'd done was he started trading. So the fund manager, getting all these complaints when obviously performance was low, he was like, right, I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to trade. He knew how to trade. But that was a big mistake, because having all that pressure from the investors
That's not good.
to then trade, and we're talking, hundreds of thousands of dollars swings in a day, that the pressure got too overwhelming. So yeah, I wasn't there for very long. I was there for about a year and a half. But luckily, I learned how to trade whilst I was there. And that's when I learned about funded accounts, funded trading, etc. So that was back in 2019, 2020. So I was just before the lockdowns. But what that taught me was, when you are responsible for other people's money, that you have to be able to. I just think it's not possible, like, to manage someone else's money and then be able to do it and manage it and trade it actively yourself. It's so difficult. That's why whoever is trading should not have contact with the investors. And that's why hedge funds, they have front office and back office. It's why the traders are, like, you have to sign NDAs. Like, you can't have any contact with the investors, because the investors can also, they can try and poach you. They poach the trader, because the trader is the asset of the fund.
Yeah, of course.
So nobody really knows who the traders are. They're not allowed to have social media. I remember I had to close down my social media. You can't mention anything on LinkedIn. It's like you're a ghost. And it was quite exciting, but at the same time, that's a big lesson that I learned, because I've tried to, help out friends and family, and I just remember the pressure. I couldn't handle it. My trading was all over the place. So yeah, I would definitely, like, for anyone that's thinking about trading for your family or trading for a friend or even an investor,
It's a different game.
it's a different type of pressure that if you don't have at least a 5-year track record, you shouldn't even be entertaining that idea. So yeah.
I know a firm who does that really well. They have like all their traders are anonymous, or they have like special names for the traders. And then also a step further, they don't give the traders, like, they don't know what amount they're trading. So they're just trading a small
Yeah.
account, and they're just going to use their trades on capital. So also that pressure is gone. So they might be handling 1 million, they might be handling 500K. They will never know. They're just trading like on a small
Yeah.
account, which is,
Yeah.
I think it's interesting as well to have both. Then you have a very nice synergy between everything.
Yeah. Do they get paid from the funds that are attached, that are copied to the account, or they just get paid for the small account that they're trading?
They're no. They're getting a fixed fee every month.
Okay.
And then they get a small percentage of commissions. They don't. If you trade for a big fund, I don't think they give that much in commission.
Yeah, I was only getting 2.5%.
Yeah, so they get a very small commission, but they do get like a fixed wage. But again, yeah, they don't have that much stress because they never actually know. They might have a guess at how much they are trading, but they don't really know. This is just one firm I know about. Not sure how other firms are doing it, like hedge funds and stuff.
So we have over 1 million traders worldwide across 195 different countries. And we've had a question from the community. So we're hoping that you can give them a good answer. So the question is, I've recently blown 4 accounts and I'm starting to think that I'll never make it. So what would you tell your past self if you were in that position?
Great question. I would just look that past self or that person who is there in the eyes and say like, it is hard right now. And of course, the issue that you're having is the hard part, the frustrating part, but there is a bright light, or there's a light at the end of the tunnel. The solution is also within you. And then if you look at everyone, I've been there, you've been there, everyone who's been successful, if you've read the books, Shoe Dog, or like something from David Goggins or Bezos or whatever that you can read, if you look at all these stories, usually the book is all about the struggle, and then the last part is about the success and how they're doing things now. So you got to realize that a lot of people who've gotten success, they had to go through the struggle. They had to go through the loss. So accept it. It's going to be part of the journey. So accept it early on. It's not fun. And probably if you've blown 4 accounts right now, you're going to hate yourself. That's normal. But try to like make it sound like a joke. So, okay, this is just, as we mentioned earlier, like question it. Like, why are you feeling like shit? Should you feel, yeah, probably if you've overtraded, there's some real belief that you've done some bad stuff. But try to zoom out a bit, like, what's the word? Relevate? No. So try to zoom out a bit, put things in perspective, and just understand that all these people, the only reason they are winning now, they had those losses. And without those losses, let's be honest, everything in life, I just mentioned it earlier, everything in life that's worth something, like that it's enjoyable to win in, is because there's been a lot of losses. So understand that, zoom out a bit, like these things are going to make it taste even better when you win. And if you're in that part, just zoom out a bit, like put things in perspective, and everything's going to be great as long as you stay disciplined and create that self-awareness and that belief.
Yeah, love that. Right, before we wrap things up, Jordy, I want to go through our Ask and Pass segment. Essentially, we're going to throw you with a surprise question from our previous guest, and then we'll give you the opportunity to leave a question for our future guest. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's bring it on.
So there was, in our last podcast, we had Zamko and Fanny. So 2 questions, and I know you've already met Zamko.
Yes.
So let's see. I think this one is Fanny's question. What's a mistake that you still make that is hard to admit?
Mistake I still make is probably like not taking funded accounts serious enough. So when I buy these challenges, because I've been there, I think I get to certain points where I just don't care. And I'm just taking risk, like 2% trades, 3% trades. And just like, okay, I'll pass this one. If I don't pass it, I'll just pass another account. I'll buy another one. And that's a mistake I'm still making. I should take that seriously, because in my track records, I'm automatically taking bad trades because of that mindset. So I'm trying to switch that, like take even if it's just a challenge account, take it very, very serious. That's a mistake I've been making the couple of months, getting more funding back. I just noticed like I'm not caring about these funded accounts anymore. That's a mistake that I need to fix. Just care enough to take it serious and not just see it as a play account.
Great response. The next question is, do you think understanding who you are as a personality is important in trading?
Yes, I think everything we've talked about is living proof of that. Self-awareness, understanding your true identity, the things that make you tick, the things that you do consistently, not only the bad things, but the good things, like understanding what it takes for you to perform is crucial. Because if you don't have any insight in that, you're just going to be stuck in a circle doing the same things, and you really need to create some self-awareness of like in a normal job, you don't usually do that. You just do your job, and oh, you made a mistake. Well, okay, the mistake's probably going to happen again because they don't really fix that. So I think it's important to look at things. What are your things that you're constantly doing wrong and right, and be very self-awareness is, I think, the number one word there.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So now it's your turn to leave a question for the next guest. It could be something bold, random, fun, philosophical. Go ahead. What's your question?
My question would be, if you can restart your trading journey, what would you do differently if you would do anything differently at all?
Oh, that's a good one.
I hope.
And that officially wraps up today's Risk Reward podcast with Jordy, who turned his pain into process, who humbled his ego, and is on a journey of self-mastery, not just for himself, but also for the traders that he's helping to transform. And on the next episode, we'll use Jordy's question to dive deep into the mind of the next FundedNext trader. So until next time, trade deliberately, train discipline, and stay funded.